When people ask which dinosaur overtook T-Rex as the top predator, the cleanest answer is none of them did, at least not in the world T-Rex actually lived in. Tyrannosaurus rex was not an early dinosaur that got replaced by something bigger and meaner later on. He was one of the last great land predators before the asteroid closed the whole non-bird dinosaur project down. Nature did not really get a chance to build the next champion. The bell rang before round 2. That matters because most of the famous T-Rex killers people bring up were not actually his neighbors. Spinosaurus was enormous, strange, and probably spent a lot of its life around water hunting fish and other aquatic prey in North Africa. Giganotosaurus was a massive South American predator. Carcharodontosaurus was another giant from North Africa. All of them deserve respect. None of them were waiting behind a tree in Montana for T-Rex to walk by. They belonged to different ecosystems, and in many cases different slices of time. Putting them against T-Rex is fun, but it is more like fantasy's matchmaking than a real prehistoric rivalry. So if we are talking about who overtook T-Rex in a direct ecological sense, the answer is nobody. T-Rex was the top predator of its own late Cretaceous North American environment. He was not sharing that role with Spinosaurus. He was not being bullied off kills by Giganotosaurus. He was not looking over his shoulder for some secret bigger theropod. In his world, he was the final boss, but top predator does not mean safe. That is where the more interesting answer starts. T-Rex may have been the most dangerous animal in its ecosystem, but he still had plenty to fear. Not in the cartoon sense, where he is shaking in a bush because a Triceratops looked at him funny. More in the real animal sense. Big predators are powerful, but they are also fragile in one specific way. One bad injury can ruin everything. A broken leg, a punctured lung, a damaged jaw, an infected wound. Any of those could turn the king of the dinosaurs into a very large problem, slowly starving to death. The first animal T-Rex had to fear was probably another T-Rex. That sounds obvious, but it is important. The most dangerous rival for a huge predator is often the same species. Another adult T-Rex would have the same weapons, the same size range, the same need for territory, food, mates, and dominance. Fossil evidence suggests tyrannosaurs bit each other in the face. That is not polite disagreement. That is two living bulldozers using their skulls like bear traps. If adult T-Rexes fought over carcasses or territory, those fights could have been brutal, even when they did not end in death. This also makes T-Rex less like a movie monster and more like a real apex predator. Lions kill hyenas, crocodiles maul each other, bears fight over food, and large predators often carry scars from their own kind. T. Rex probably lived in that same ugly logic. He may have been the top predator, but another T-Rex was the one animal that could look at him and basically say, same tools, same size, same bad attitude. After that, the next serious answer is Triceratops. Triceratops was not a predator, but it was absolutely not helpless food. This was a massive horned animal with a huge skull, a strong body, and a face built like a prehistoric forklift with knives attached. If T-Rex attacked one, especially a healthy adult, the fight could go wrong fast. One horn into the wrong place could be catastrophic. A predator does not need to be killed instantly to lose. It just needs to be injured badly enough that hunting becomes harder. That is the underrated part of predator-prey relationships. People imagine every hunt as a clean win or loss, like a video game fight. Real predators avoid risk when they can. A young, sick, old, or isolated Triceratops would be a better target than a prime adult ready to turn and meet the charge. T-Rex could definitely threaten Triceratops. There is fossil evidence of interactions between them, but could kill does not mean could kill safely. Triceratops may have been prey, but it was prey with consequences. Ankylosaurus is another animal T-Rex would have had to respect. Again, not because Ankylosaurus was hunting T-Rex. It was a plant eater. But it was armored, low to the ground, and carried a heavy tail club. Trying to bite into an animal like that was not like grabbing a soft hadrosaur. It was more like trying to eat a couch covered in bone plates while the couch tries to break your leg. The exact use of ankylosaur tail clubs is still debated. They may have been used in fights with each other as much as against predators. But even if defense was not their only purpose, the basic problem for T-Rex remains obvious. Ankylosaurus was hard to bite, hard to flip, and dangerous to approach from the wrong angle. For a predator whose survival depended on staying mobile, a smashed foot or shin would be a disaster. T-Rex was powerful, but he was not immune to physics. A tail club landing cleanly would not care about his reputation. Large hadrosaurs like Edmontosaurus also deserve a mention. They were not as visually dramatic as Triceratops or Ankylosaurus, so they get treated like default prey animals. But a full-grown hadrosaur was still a large, strong animal. It could run, kick, shove, and make a hunt difficult. T-Rex probably preyed on hadrosaurs, but again, hunting big animals is never free. A predator that takes too many risks eventually becomes a fossil with an embarrassing injury. So the best answer is layered. In terms of title, nobody overtook T-Rex. He was the last great land predator of his environment, and the extinction event ended the competition before a new dinosaur could take the crown. In terms of theoretical size contests, Spinosaurus or Giganotosaurus can be argued as rivals, but they were not real rivals to T-Rex in daily life. They were champions from other leagues. In terms of fear, the winner is probably another T-Rex. That is the one creature with the size, bite, aggression, and ecological reason to genuinely threaten him. Right behind that comes Triceratops, the prey animal that could turn a hunt into a hospital visit, except the hospital is just mud and infection. Ankylosaurus belongs there too, as the armored mistake a predator might only make once. T-Rex was not replaced. He was not dethroned by a bigger dinosaur. He reached the end of the age still sitting at the top, surrounded by animals that could hurt him badly if he got careless. That is a better image than the simple king of dinosaurs version. Not an invincible monster, not a coward hiding from horned cows, but a giant predator living in a world where even the king had to pick his fights carefully.